It is time to diversify with 7 revenue streams for menopause fitness coaches. So whether you are actually a fitness coach who is trained as a personal trainer, you're a fitness instructor, make that be Pilates or yoga, or you're a health coach who talks about fitness because of all of the dimensions of wellness, we know physical exercise and physical activity is one of them. You may be a menopause fitness coach in some way, shape, or form. So I will lead you immediately to the Flipping 50 Menopause Fitness Specialist. If you're not certified, you haven't gone through a specialist course, and you are giving advice, but you are not sure what it is you're giving is the right thing, I suggest you take a look at it, right? So right now, if you are in real-time listening, it's only notifications list time. We are launching a brand new program in late June, early July, and you can be the first to learn about it. But let's go into these 7 revenue streams. So you may be ready to diversify, meaning you've already got something going on. You're earning some money. This is what you're doing, but you're ready for, I would like more revenue. Does anybody know? Don't want any more? I've got too much. I don't think so, right? But you might be ready for, all right, I don't just want to do more private clients, which is more hours of your day, or I don't want to put more people into a group. I feel like I can't give anybody more individual attention or as much as they need if I did that. You're going to need something else. This is your something else. I'm Deborah Atkinson. You're listening to She Means Fitness Business. That's a division of my business, Voice for Fitness. We have Flipping 50 for our consumers, and we have She Means Fitness Business, the podcast for you. We are working on a new domain. I used to say Fitness Marketing Mastery all the time, and right now that is our site. But we are working on something new and fancy smancy for you, something super simple and very clear. So I don't even know what it is because it's that secret, but watch for that very soon. I started Fitness Marketing Mastery more than 20 years ago to teach marketing and sales strategies to trainers who think sales is sleazy, salesy, and pushy and don't want to be that. And so I don't know why. I really don't know why, because I had no parents who were, entrepreneurs or, in sales of any kind. Oh, heaven forbid that they wouldn't have liked it. But for whatever reason, having gotten into the fitness industry, I found it easy because for me, it was more like relating and more like saying, this is exactly what I do for you. I mean, this is the best possible recommendation that I can give you. If you were my mom, it's what I would tell you to do. And that was always my standpoint. It's like, okay, maybe they won't be able to afford that or say no to it, but I can't not tell them the exact right thing. So every time I recommended something, it was out of integrity, not out of how much am I going to make from this? So tell them a more expensive package. So when you do it like that and you can create rapport, you know words to use and words not to use. You can understand the psychology of that individual. And I found that easy. And then I decided to study it further through exercise and sport psychology. And that's how I really got started helping trainers and coaches and business owners with marketing and selling easier. So we had a great deal of success in the middle of the Midwest during the downturn in 2006 and 7 and 8 when things weren't so good. We had great growth. And so I wanted to package that up. That's how I got started. But when I was 49, I quit everything and really went 100% in for fitness professionals. And at the same time, I started Flipping 50 so that I could demonstrate exactly what I was doing. Well, it's worked out really well for me, and I want to share all of that with you. That's why this podcast is still going strong after 14 years. All right, here they are, 7 revenue streams. And before I dive into that, if you're unsure about the direction you're going for your business, I want you to grab a scorecard for business assessment that you can do all by yourself. fitnessmarketingmastery.com/scorecard. I'll say that again, and it'll be in show notes. Let's talk about this. So 7 revenue streams. And first of all, for you overachievers, please don't go out and try to do all of these all at once. What I want you to do is listen to them and say, okay, I have that one. But maybe also say, you know what, I do have that one and it's working. And I could add a second one. And because I'm so good and confident in that, it's working, this might be a really good idea. But also hear what might be next and how it might work in order. So sequentially, wouldn't it be ideal if everybody who came into your business did the first thing, and then they did the second thing that you had, and then they did the third thing, and everything that you had, they loved and they wanted, right? So I've got customers like that. And what happens is they end up doing it and they end up coming back again and again because they love the others who come again and again and again. You're creating friendships. It's pretty cool. All right. So number 1 is online courses and workshops. That's probably the lowest hanging fruit in terms of how can you add another revenue stream that isn't just giving an hour away for an hour's worth of time or revenue, right? So looking at online courses and by coming up with questions that you answer over and over again, like how many grams of protein, how many grams of fat, how many grams of, how do I plan my macros? How do I meal plan? How do I do core? How should I warm up? What do I do? How many sets? How many reps? How do I modify if I can't do this? You have a list of questions you answer over and over and over and over, and you almost start answering that question before somebody's done asking it. Please don't do that, by the way, because they need to feel heard. They have to say the whole thing. But you could start creating FAQs, or better yet, start a course. So this is for your people who can afford to see you live. Maybe you're too expensive. And maybe that's okay because you shouldn't have to lower your rate. However, you can now have something for someone who didn't buy repeatedly. You now can put something affordable, more accessible in front of them with your online course. You create it once. It takes time for you to create that, meticulously go through, make sure it makes sense, make sure there's handouts and the graphics and all of it is nice and good and clean. But then once you've created that one time, you've probably benefited a great deal from digging in there, and your live presentations are going to be that much better. But now you can sell it multiple times. Create it once, do the work, and sell it multiple times. When I wrote You Still Got It, Girl, the After Fitness Formula for Women, I'm staring at it on my bookshelf over here. That was in 2015 or 16 in November. It came out, and I released the course because it was actually mimicking a course that I had tested over and over many times in the 3 years prior in many iterations of a 4-week and a 6-week and a 7-week and a 9-week and a 12-week course. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But all the pieces were the same. And I pulled the things in and out that were more valuable and less valuable. And I then was left with this framework of this works. When I walk somebody through all of these things, they get results and they understand it. And they're speaking the language. And now they always have a way to fix it when it's not working or they fall off the wagon. They know how to come back and review. That's the framework for a course or for a workshop. If you want to do, say, I want to do an 8-hour workshop one day or a 5-hour workshop one day, you're basically teaching a course just 5 hours in a row instead of 5 weeks in a row. And that's doable too. So you can create and sell online courses that address specific components of fitness or wellness for midlife women, like bone health, hormone balance, managing menopause symptoms through exercise and nutrition. So lots and lots of platforms now exist post-pandemic. Let me tell you, in 2013, they didn't. So it's been a little ride getting things up and then changing. But there are forms like Teachable, Thinkific is pretty big. I use a membership site where behind it I put courses and membership. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But you can do a one event or a series event. The biggest mistake here, I will tell you, for your online courses and workshops is underpricing. And I I have this going on the regular. Someone will say, I know it's really cheap. We're offered it really, really low, but we don't even care. We just want to do it. But you do care. If you are a professional, you're a coach who's gone through training and you think you're worth it and you really want a reputation as a go-to coach. You don't want to be the go-to cheap coach because I can't afford anybody else coach. You want to be the coach that they're expensive, there's a wait list, and they're worth it, and I'm willing to pay it, right? I think so. I'm going to answer for you. So if you underprice, you do yourself an injustice. So unless you really set this up as this first group here we're doing, it's a beta group. That means it's going to be smaller and exclusive. We're going to launch it at the one-time low price. Here's the regular rate. You position that first and say, we're going to launch it this time for this beta rate. In exchange for this rate, here's what we want from you. Every participant will, along the way, give us short clips, testimonials of how it's going, how they were doing before they came in, what they tried before they came in, and you will be helping us build it by giving us feedback about what was the most valuable. So as a part of your participation, part of how you will repay us for this low rate is through your testimonial and through your feedback. Are you in agreement to that? So you're positioning it in a very unique way so that you do not discount yourself, not for you mentally and not for them, because otherwise they will always be waiting for the discount or the sale price, and you don't want to set that up. When you start deciding that you're going to offer a program because of a problem that you solve, and you believe that someone will pay you for the solution that you have, underpricing it is usually the biggest risk. So sets up a precedent and you aren't going to be excited about it. And I even if you're thinking, but this sounds like so much fun, it's great. But if you're 3 or 4 weeks into it and you're planning to meet outside at a park and the weather is crappy, or people are canceling and saying, can I have a makeup day? Is there any makeup day? And you're already, your take home pay is like $7 each. That's really not a great position to be in, right? I mean, you could pay someone for a testimonial, and get something better than that. The second biggest mistake is not having a goal for your enrollment. And this will prevent you from making only $7 per session, right? So what is the minimum profitable number of registrants that you have to have? If you don't want to profit or set that as a goal, you won't. You know what I'm saying? You're just going to, we're just going to see how this goes. That's never a good plan. That's like, what if somebody said that, where I'm just going to see how this goes? I'm not really going to decide what days or how many days of week I'm going to work out. I'm just going to be more active this year. How well do you think that works out? Why do you think New Year's resolutions fail, right? I think we all know the answer to that. So think about your time, the time delivering, the time preparing, the time you might have to commute. I don't know where it is or logistically, but what does it remove you from doing that could earn you more for that same amount of time? What would it cost you if you were going to hire someone to do the same amount of time? Do not pay yourself less than that. The biggest cost to a low price offer, though, is the mental connection with you and your services. And I mean for you as well as for the customer. Cheap is not as well perceived as worth it is. Okay. Number 2. So that was online courses and or workshops, right? So it's online and or. You could do this live. You could do it yourself and you could partner with someone. But this is really a static, create it once and then it's done. Workshops, I've done a workshop, a copywriting course. We did it live and I recorded it. And now it's evergreen. I don't have to do it again. We will add, in fact, right now we're looking at doing this because we need to add a little piece about how to use Chat GPT to do your marketing really well. And if you want to hear me on a rant about Chat GPT, you can go back to the last episode. All right. Number 2, following online courses and workshops is virtual fitness coaching. Now, you may be way ahead of me. So, this is the one-on-one work that you might meet with someone on Zoom. I used to do all of these by teleconferencing. So, there wasn't Zoom, and I actually preferred it that way. And here's why. A lot of people thought, well, can I do this Zoom or FaceTime? And I was like, no. And here's the reason why. Let's say I'm wearing green or I'm wearing a visor and I just went for a walk. If you're looking at the video right now, this is kind of funny because I just went for a walk and I'm wearing a visor. And it's when my wheels get turning, and that's why I come back a lot of times from a walk and I will do a podcast recording. But somebody is judging you by you have on green and they hate green. Somebody is looking at you and wondering why you have a crooked smile, like what's wrong with your lip, or any number of things. And you're distracted by them as much as you, and you're judging them by their physical appearance. When you don't have that, you're just taking in the essence and the soul, and you're hearing things that are not being said as well as the things that are being said. It's like a blind person, all of the other senses are heightened because of it. So I think there's great value in not being on camera. So if someone asks me to do Zoom, I will, but because they're an international client, and I will be off camera most of the time. Okay, so just for ideas on this, leverage things like Zoom or Skype. And again, thinking about what I just said, you can do that because maybe you want to assess them. Maybe you want to see their posture. Maybe you want to have them demonstrate an exercise, or you want to demonstrate one or show them one that they're unfamiliar with. That's perfectly valuable and something you may want to do. Now, I use this differently. So I will do a Zoom call while I'm doing an assessment with somebody, or a 90-minute, we call it ultimate assessment with somebody. So I can meet them face to face. I can really get to know them. I'm also creating rapport so that they may want to continue. If I decide I want to work with them, they may want to continue as a VIP client. But I also am potentially looking and checking on movement screens that we've done previously via recording that I want to go deeper on. I want to give them an exercise that I either might need to show and watch them do so I know that they're doing it correctly. So there are lots of reasons why you might do that. But I don't believe that you need to be hands-on in order to coach really well. You need to be able to articulate. And a lot of people who are coaching in person can't do that. They're there and they're a warm body, but from across the room, when I have supervised, 250,000 personal training sessions a year for 7 years in a row, the body language of a lot of personal trainers is, I'm tired, I'm hungry, and I'm looking at my phone because I got to go pick up my kid, or my spouse is texting me. Nothing good. It's not really exuding energy. So, there's that. Use articulation. How well can you articulate what it is that you want them to know, and ask questions so that you can know what you need to about them? Your coaching will get better if you're doing virtual coaching, I believe, truly. So you could do private or you could do group, and you could also do a mixture of both. So you could offer a group and you could upsell to private coaching for more customization. I will meet with you for, one-on-one each week of this as well. So there's lots of different ways that you can slice it. Wellness retreats are number 3. This is super fun. So for this one, this is one that I do. I do this regularly. I've done this, and I honestly didn't start it on purpose. I was asked first to do it for the very first time. This was back in the late 2000 to 2010 period of time. I don't remember what it was. And it was actually somebody brought a group of 7 or 8 sisters and sisters-in-laws into a health facility. We happened to have a very healthy restaurant right across the parking lot. We had a spa and salon, like nail salon, pedicure, manicure kind of thing, also back to back to that. So, I mean, it was, less than half a block of walking. It was just across the parking lot. So we met them. I know I sent them out for manis, petties, and lunch. And then they came back and we did some post rep. It was like a 6-hour workshop. And it was a ton of fun for them, ton of bonding for them based on the questions that we asked. They learned a lot about their exercise. Then they were able to help keep themselves accountable afterward. That's how I got started. And I started thinking, this could be a thing. This is a ton of fun for me. It's teaching what I do every day, but in a kind of unique environment. And so I started really thinking about it and thinking, where would I love to go? So you could do so many things. You could partner with a retreat center. You could start a small, weekend getaway focused on a specific theme like reset, renew, or, women's week, menopause week, osteoporosis week or month or day, could be a reason to host it or do it. These are the most fun revenue streams for coaches because you figure out a way to do what you love and get paid for it. I'm this year hosting retreats in Colorado and in the Grand Canyon. Last year, we did one here in Phoenix. We had an earlier one planned in Phoenix that just didn't take. And sometimes that happens, but I have a cutoff. I have a minimum cutoff. And if we don't make that cutoff, it's not worth my time. I can't do it. And for many other vendors who are coming in, the speakers, it's also not worth their time. So they won't do it. A caterer won't come in for too few. So it changes the dynamic and you just have to know, okay, here's my minimum. I am, going to places I love. I'm taking my cohorts on trails I love, and I know I'm getting to teach life-changing content to attendees while they're there, bringing together a community of women who are interested in the same thing. But you can also, and I've done this virtually in a 1, 2, or 3-day retreat. I did a 3-day retreat where I think it was 3 hours, maybe on a Saturday, 2 on a Sunday. We had a kickoff meeting several days before so that they could get all the things they needed ready. And after we went off camera on day 1, on Saturday, there were things I wanted them to do. I wanted them to go take an Epsom salt bath. I wanted them to, drop essential oils in. I wanted them to use their eye mask to sleep, things like that. But it was $97. We had over 40 women in attendance and it was a blast, So if you're doing math, $100, 40 people, and that was an fairly easy weekend, teaching things that are top of mind for me. You've got to pull together your materials, but that's a rinse and repeat kind of thing. I can do that half year, twice a year. I can do it multiple times. I can give that away as a bonus for something else if I'm already offering it as a paid event. Maybe it's a bonus for my members or VIP clients. So many ways that you can do that. So you could partner with someone to do a workshop as well or run any kind of a training session. And if you're doing this, you have no budget. Grassroots, think about somebody may be registering and paying. Let's say you don't even have a website or you don't have a store, a way to collect money on your website, and you're just collecting via Venmo. Okay. So don't make a participant jump through the hoops and pay you and the other coach. Make them pay you one registration fee, and each of you coaches, then decide we'll split it up afterward. And maybe you're going to split it 50-50. But here's what I would do is, the coach who sells someone and enrolls someone should get 10% more. That's the sales commission, right? So the other one would get, the 40%. And, that's going to all come out in the wash as it should, don't you think? Right. So if either of you or both of you do a great job, they may want to go on and do something more with you. And that's up to you. And maybe that's individually or together you decide to offer something more full blown, totally up to you. Okay, so let's review really quickly where we've gone so far. Online courses or workshops, virtual client coaching, private or group, and wellness retreats. And now, number 4 is membership programs. So, membership program is what's also known as a continuity program, where you're offering a month to month or an annual subscription rate, where probably the rate overall is better than a 12 times the monthly rate. And you're rewarding them in that case for the commitment, but you're offering, some kind of exclusive content. It's the only place that they can get it. There's community support, there's regular live Q&A. So regular live contact with you in general is what they want, right? They want to connect with you. It often includes discounted rates for additional services, regular content exclusive to them, access to you that nobody else has or only VIP clients have. Members get at a fraction of the price of private coaching. So there's a lot of them ideally in the membership. And part of it, again, is community. So having a Facebook group or a circle group, if you're trying to get your people off of Facebook or have another platform, sometimes that's a smart idea. But memberships are big, and there's different ways to do memberships. A lot of people will do them the way I have. We start with a program. Somebody goes through a program, and afterward, that means they're speaking the language of flipping 50, and then they go into a continuity program because they don't want to lose that progress. We often, that was all we did. We don't have a different way to get in, so we allow people to register for master classes, and or they can jump into our membership. Instead of just paying for the master class, they can actually begin the monthly membership. That's an option. So you have to decide, what's the content like? Is it okay for first timers to jump in, or will they be overwhelmed? That was always my concern. But you want to think about which is the better way to do it, or do you want to do both? And we are honestly, very transparently, just testing that. I may decide and go back to, it's better for people to do a program first, then come into the membership. So affiliate marketing is number 5. And this is where you are promoting for somebody else. So maybe another coach, a functional medicine doctor who's offering a program that you don't cover, or you are promoting a product, something that will help your constituents, your audience or community get better results if they have it and have access to it. So a couple examples. I promote for Power Plate, whole body vibration. I promote a skincare system that I use. I promote for a doctor friend of mine who sells things that boost alkalinity for women in menopause, help boost their ketogenesis, help them with fat burning, and help with vaginal estrogen cream for incontinence and or for painful intercourse or dryness. All things that are those related to fitness, directly and indirectly, yes and no. And yet, they are things that come out for our members and areas that I don't cover. I don't carry a vaginal estrogen cream. And I'm not the expert who can really talk to them about the science of it. I know enough now, 5, 6 years later, after having had a relationship with this doctor, but she is still the best possible person. So I'm more than happy to promote that. I promote for the bone coach for a specific bone density program above and beyond what we already do in the Flipping 50 program. If somebody really is terribly fearful and probably struggling with a lot of gut health issues that they need to clean up, and they want somebody to walk them through that and really want to invest totally in that and not a well-rounded program. I also partner with other fitness coaches and docs, at a point where people on my email list have been on for a long time, but not yet taken action. There's a point where I want them to get started. Like, I don't know what they're doing. And if they haven't taken advantage of something with me, I'm going to put someone else in front of them to see if maybe this voice resonates better. So there are all kinds of opportunities. You, depending on what you do, may want to promote or be an affiliate for the Flipping 50 programs, for a strength training program, for the membership, for an upcoming summit that we're hosting in May of 2024. It's free. And yet, if someone purchases a program or a next step or buys the recordings, you will benefit from revenue from that. And that's a great and easy way to promote. It's free. You're not promoting a program offered by someone you're introducing for the first time. So affiliate marketing is like passive revenue. You didn't do the work. You just sent an email and talked about it on social media, but you're earning money for it. So very awesome. If you want a hint at revenue on that. So the more expensive, obviously, there are two models. I'll say the more expensive the toy, say Power Plate, is, $2,500, $3,000, depending on which model. That can add up quickly. My audience loves it. So between $13,000 and $15,000 per promotion, worth it, right? Partnered with another skincare line my audience loved because I love. And again, we're talking about somewhere between $10,000 and $13,000 per launch, as we looked at that over a period of, say, 90 days. Other things I promote regularly, but not overly. They come in regularly and not huge numbers. But when you look at the end of the year, it's not all that different from, a big promotional time for a bigger ticket item versus, just small and consistently talking about them every single day or week at least. The smaller sale still adds up. So be thinking about how you could be making that. And this is all of that passive income in your pajamas kind of thing. Number 6, there's 2 more, so hang in there. This one's corporate wellness programs. And I would have to admit, this is an area I am really least knowledgeable about. And yet it's a very easy one to look at. So what I need you to know about corporate wellness is you have to be speaking corporate speak. So this could be in school systems, it could be in hospital systems, it could be in companies, corporations. When you go in and we are doing presentations for corporations or organizations, when I do a keynote speech, we need to be talking about productivity. We need to be talking about reducing insurance costs. We need to be talking about job satisfaction, about retaining good quality help or recruiting good quality help by having the benefits in place. We need to be talking in the way that makes the bottom line very, very clear by bringing you in and having this program here. How are we going to win? So we're creating a proposal that really lines, line by line, the things that we're offering, make it easy, make it convenient, put everybody in a better mood, give them more energy. What are the statistics? You're giving them all of those things. So you really need to learn the corporate context of programs and of speaking and creating a proposal. So take a good look at that. You can Google anything these days, so do that. Number 7 is writing and publishing. Now, here's where I don't want you to be deceived. So writing and publishing a book is not going to make you rich. It doesn't matter if it's a New York Times bestseller. It's probably going to make you less money if it's a New York Times bestseller and take more time by you writing it and by the 2 or 3 years that it takes to get it to Barnes and Noble. You're not going to earn money from the book. You might earn money if you do a really, really good job of getting known from the book, getting podcasts, interviews from the book, having a program as a back end from the book, selling supplements as a back end from the book. The New York Times best-selling book does nothing for you in terms of earning money unless you have those things in place. You have to be ready with, how is this helping me? You have to know the answer to that. However, the other kind of self-publishing a book could help you, and it can help you faster. within 90 days, you could self-publish a book, put it on Amazon Kindle or do Amazon.com on demand. And that, could sell you books. You're going to earn a little something on it. Again, not going to buy you lunch, but it could lead them directly to programs. And if you release that at the right time and your program is coming out, it's evergreen, and those links they'll go to are going to be constantly helpful in leading them into your funnel to the next thing and the next thing, you will grow your email list because of this. So think about those specific things. Traditional publishing, again, you have to have an agent to actually get an editor and a publisher who's, somebody you would recognize. That takes time and lots of time. And in some cases, your time is money, but you can self-publish and you can do a fairly good job of it, or you can do a hybrid where someone actually helps you write it, helps you edit it, does the formatting and the layout, helps you get it to be a bestseller status if you want to do that. But the point is that the content in the book gets you noticed as an expert in your niche and drives people to you. So let me go through these really quickly again. Number one was developing an online course. So somebody comes to your website, they can sign up for your online course, and you've built it once. They can buy that anytime, day or night, no matter where they are in the world. Number two, virtual coaching. You don't have to go and be in place or position. So maybe you are a personal trainer in a gym or you deliver, and you can also upsell to virtual coaching. So now you can see them more in between those sessions when we know that's the downfall, right? People don't control that time and do as well as they did that 1 hour with you the rest of the week. What is that? I used to know this by heart, 163 other hours of the week. Wellness retreats. Number three, super fun. If you are of the right personality. Now I will tell you this, I'm an introverted extrovert, extroverted introvert. So I thrive. I love teaching. I love teaching groups. I love speaking, and I recharge alone, right? So I don't love being in a group for a long stretch of period of time over a day or over 3 or 4 days without breaks for myself. So, if we are, say, putting together a retreat, last time I did a retreat here in Phoenix, I'll give you an example. I stay in my own bed. I had a guest speaker come in, and I offered her a room in my home in exchange for her presenting and to attend the retreat for free on me, as long as she got herself here. So she was very comfortable. That was very fun. And I didn't feel like I was totally on and entertaining her host. With the right person, that works. It could have gone the other way, but she probably would have never been asked to do it if that was the case. Then I'm doing an Airbnb in June in Colorado. So I'm driving to Colorado, not living there anymore, driving to Colorado. I will stay in an Airbnb, not with anyone else, but the other attendees are staying in their own choice of Airbnb or hotels, whatever they like. And what I found for us is that everybody prefers to make their own arrangements. I've had it go both ways. I've had people request, I just prefer that all I have to do is get myself there and you do it. And that actually didn't go over really well. And so I wasted a lot of time playing travel agent and had sworn I didn't want ever to do that. So I probably will never again. Just was a waste of time for me. And people really like to choose where they want to stay. Some want Airbnbs, some don't. Some want to share a hotel room with someone, some don't. And it was too many variables. So what happens is everybody stays where they want to. We allow them to pair up. We support matching them up by putting them into a WhatsApp group together to coordinate and make those plans together. We don't do it for them. So, but I can go home at night and get up in the morning and have my time before I'm with everybody else. And that works really well for me. So just know yourself. And then be sure that if you're going to go somewhere, you also know where it is you're going. You know the area really well. You're not guessing, and or you have a guide, somebody else who's been there. Okay, number 4 is membership programs. Number 5 was affiliate marketing. Think of 5 things right now, 5 products you love, the tea or the coffee you drink, the shampoo, the skincare you use, the sauna or the tools, the fitness tools and toys that you use. You probably have 5 things right now you could get a start on promoting. 6 is corporate wellness programs. So no matter who you are, this might be something that appeals to you. If you wanted out of corporate and that's why you're doing what you're doing, you may feel, I never want to go back. And that's okay too. But if you lived in the corporate world, this also might be a really great segue for you. Someone who understands it, understands the language. Maybe you were a manager or a team lead. You probably are really good at communicating with someone in charge. So consider maybe, corporate can pay more. So if you get a contract and you do a good job, you may have secured a regular kind of a revenue that you really love. And last but not least is writing and publishing. And I would venture to say here that the writing and publishing is not going to make you money, but from the writing and publishing of great content, you may drive people to you. So that one is a little deceptive of all of them. I hope that was really helpful. I would love to know which one of these lights you up. And I'm going to come back to the very beginning. Do you remember when I said, maybe if you already have some of these revenue streams in place, you might think, I could do another one. And one of those examples might be with your online courses. So let's say you have an online course, but it's big and it's comprehensive. What if you built a second one and it was just small, just a piece, just a step, and it was the basics for somebody who's easily overwhelmed? That might be another, or it might be that you're ready to build an advanced course. So this is not the same as a 2.0. So if you build a course like I did in 2015, I've already had to do a 2.0, I think 3.0, and we are ready to do a 4.0. And we're launching that in July. And so you're always going to have to come back. That's not a new course. That's not what I would qualify as a new course, but it might justify increasing the rates. By the way, if you're interested in hearing more about that Flipping 50 Menopause Fitness Specialist Plus, it's going to have a lot more marketing, a lot more sales, a lot more strategy for you, done for you. That works. You can get on the wait list for that at a link in the show notes today. Show notes will be at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/revenue streams for fitness coaches. And what are you waiting for? The world needs us right now more than ever.